If your doctor suggests malaria to cure syphilis, you're not in a sci-fi movie, you're in 1920s medicine. Imagine walking into a doctor's office in the 1920s, suffering from the debilitating effects of syphilis, a disease that was considered incurable at the time. The doctor, in a calm and collected manner, suggests an unconventional treatment, malaria. It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but this was a real medical practice in the early 20th century. In the early 1900s, syphilis was a devastating, incurable disease. It affected millions of people worldwide, causing severe physical and mental health issues. The symptoms were gruesome, ranging from painful sores to neurological damage. The medical community was desperate for a cure, and traditional treatments were largely ineffective. Enter Dr. Julius Wagner Jauregg, a man willing to take extreme measures. He noticed something peculiar. Dr. Wagner Jauregg was an Austrian physician and psychiatrist who had a keen interest in the relationship between infections and mental illness. He observed that patients who contracted malaria seemed to experience a reduction in syphilis symptoms. This observation led him to a groundbreaking hypothesis. In regions where malaria was rampant, syphilis seemed to vanish. This correlation was too significant to ignore. Dr. Wagner Jauregg theorized that the high fevers caused by malaria could potentially kill the syphilis bacteria. It was a radical idea, but he was determined to test it. So, what did he do? He embarked on a series of experiments that would change the course of medical history. Dr. Wagner Jauregg began by deliberately infecting syphilis patients with malaria. This was a highly controversial and risky procedure, but he believed the potential benefits outweighed the risks. He deliberately infected syphilis patients with malaria. The idea was to induce high fevers in these patients, as he hypothesized that the elevated body temperature would kill the syphilis bacteria. This method, known as malariotherapy, was met with skepticism and criticism from the medical community. Yup, you heard that right. The concept of using one disease to cure another was revolutionary and controversial. Many were shocked and appalled by the idea of intentionally infecting patients with a potentially deadly disease. However, Dr. Wagner Jauregg was undeterred. By inducing high fevers through malaria, he found that the syphilis bacteria couldn't survive. The high temperatures created an inhospitable environment for the bacteria, effectively killing them off. This method proved to be surprisingly effective, and many patients experienced significant improvements in their symptoms. This risky move paid off, earning him the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1927. Dr. Wagner Jauregg's innovative approach to treating syphilis was recognized as a major medical breakthrough. His work paved the way for future research into the use of fever therapy for various diseases. But why did it work, fever? The key to the success of malaria therapy was the fever induced by the malaria infection. Fever is a natural defense mechanism of the body, designed to fight off infections by creating an environment that is hostile to pathogens. Fever is our body's natural defense mechanism. When the body detects an infection, it raises its temperature to create a less favorable environment for the invading pathogens. This response is not unique to humans. It is observed across many species in the animal kingdom. Studies show that reducing fever can actually hamper recovery. Fever plays a crucial role in the immune response, and artificially lowering it can interfere with the body's ability to fight off infections. This has been demonstrated in various studies and experiments. In one experiment, kids with chickenpox who didn't take fever reducers recovered a day or two faster than those who did. And here's another shocker. This finding suggests that allowing the body to maintain a fever can enhance the immune response and speed up recovery. 56 volunteers were given a nasal spray to induce cold symptoms. This experiment aimed to investigate the effects of fever on the immune response to common cold viruses. Half took aspirin to reduce fever, the other half didn't. The results were telling. The group that did not take aspirin had a more robust immune response and recovered more quickly than the group that took the fever-reducing medication. The fever-free group had a stronger immune response and recovered faster. This supports the idea that fever is an important part of the body's defense mechanism and should not be suppressed unnecessarily. This isn't just a human phenomenon. Fever as a defense mechanism is observed in many animal species. It is a widespread and evolutionarily conserved response to infection. Rabbits, fish, reptiles, all kinds of animals create feverish conditions to fight infection. This suggests that fever is a fundamental and effective strategy for combating pathogens across different species. Desert iguanas, for instance, raise their body temperature when infected with bacteria. They do this by basking in the sun to increase their body heat, which helps them fight off infections more effectively. If they can't, their survival rate drops by a whopping 75%. This dramatic decrease in survival rates highlights the critical role that fever plays in the immune response and overall health of these animals. So the next time you have a fever, remember, it's not just an annoying symptom to be suppressed. Fever is a powerful tool that your body uses to fight off infections and protect your health. It's not just an annoying symptom, it's a sign that your body is actively working to combat an infection and restore your health. It's a time-tested evolutionary battle tactic. Fever has been a part of the immune response for millions of years, helping organisms survive and thrive in the face of infections. Fever has been fighting for survival across species for millions of years. This ancient and effective defense mechanism is a testament to the power of evolution and the resilience of life. And sometimes the best medicine isn't a pill, but a feverish fight from within. Embracing the body's natural defenses can lead to better health outcomes and a deeper understanding of the intricate mechanisms that keep us alive and well.